When last time we left our tutorials, we had two inventories, but they were sort of competing with each other. Whichever one was opened up last is the one that had the dominance over the other one. So, this is just another opportunity for some practice debugging what's going on. First, let's actually take a look and see, is there a difference between the two here? So this has the correct objects on it. It's not creating new objects over here, that we know of at least, but the text itself is changing actually. So remember, you've got to think like your software. You can't think just like a human being here. When we look at these inventory containers, we lump these together, remember? Object and text. But the software doesn't see it that way. The software actually sees two separate objects, right? This is from our grouping items, and this is a slot object or a text object that we created on both. So again, the software is not differentiating between the two. So how do we do that? Let's see, where is our code? I think it's inventory check, right? And our new chest inventory check. We made it so that when the slot picks were on the specified layer, it only worked with that specific layer and those items. But we never said anything about our items or layers down here, our items or text objects, excuse me, down here. So we do need to add a check down here, right? For inventory check, make sure the items that we're creating are on this layer, right? But when we do that, it doesn't really like our code anymore. Watch. See what it did? It never actually changed our slot text like it normally does. But that's not the same thing as what we created here, right? We're dealing with items here, and our error deals with a text object. So what happens if we add a check for slot 1 on layer inventory? And we copy that and paste it here. Does it change anything? Well, we don't need to check for the items actually, right? The items are created on the correct layer, which means we already know they're there. So it might be that the error, right, because we know that this isn't running, this code, or it would change to empty slot. The error is likely that there is no item on inventory layer because we actually destroyed it right here. So when it gets to here, it says, that's false. There actually is no item there. So let's delete that. And in inventory creation, we already created the slot 1, so we know that's there. Let's see if that actually makes a difference. Okay, so we're looking at this right here. Let's bring up our inventory, our chest inventory. Let's go back and forth and see what happens. Now I'm curious. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it in here, but change the layer to chest inventory. And let's copy and paste this Let's see if that does anything. Ah, look at that. This didn't change to empty. And this, when I hit the D key, doesn't change to basic sword. So that's what was going wrong here, is we never, although we differentiated our items, our objects, we never differentiated our slot text objects from their various layers. So let's copy and paste this. Okay, and let's go in here, and let's get the correct code for this one. All right, let's run a preview now, and let's see how we did. Okay, we bring up the inventory. Now let's hit the D key. All right, still changed this here, but not that first one. So again, let's stop and let's think. We know this is correct. So what happened here? Let's go back to our code. We know slot 1 is okay. Here's where grouping matters. So here's slot 2. Do you see the problem? We're dealing with slot 2 now. So we've got to now change these to their corresponding slots. It's an easy mistake to make. Same thing here, we've got to change the corresponding ones. Whoops. 2 to 2. Wait, somehow I got off by 1. Again, grouping comes into play here. Somehow I got off by 1. These should be 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s. Okay. Now that should have taken care of it. Let's see. All right, here's the big moment. Let's hit the D key. Nothing. Let's hit the D key. Nothing. All right, I think we got it. Last check we're going to do, let's go into Project Manager in our global variables, and let's add a couple of objects into our chest inventory here. Let's go to the bottom. And slot 1 we're going to say is filled. 1 item. Let's put the basic sword in there. Slot 2 is going to be filled also. Let's put the bowel obstructor in there. And then slot 4, let's skip a slot. Let's put a health potion in that one. Whoops. Put a health potion in. Now let's run a check. Let's see if our items are showing up correctly. Look at that. And we even have the opacity changing. But that's because, again, the software is not differentiating between the items on this side and the items on this side. So, let's take a quick look at our inventory manager code, because that's where we're going to be going next. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to talk about here. So I think we'll do that in the next tutorial. But good job.